No, that's wrong. So look at this. Isn't that a cool picture there? You know what that is? Yes, that's the children's library over there. Regina and her helpers do such great work there. Can you guess the theme this year? That's right, baking, being bakers. And so each wall is different. One wall had a recipe. I took pictures of 3 different walls there, but I like this one. I like this one right there. And so continue to learn. Isn't that so important that we continue to learn? I remember when I was younger, I was like, I can't wait until I finish high school. I don't have to learn anymore. Or then when I finish college, I'm be done with learning. Oh, if that was the case. We have to continue to learn. At least we should continue to learn. If you don't continue to learn, then you have to learn the hard way, the University of Hard Knocks. But that's okay too. And so I want to talk about this learning for a little bit and the wisdom that we gain. And it's so awesome to be able to read so many of these books, and we choose books. Regina does a really good job that all of these books have good spiritual meanings. So you don't have to question, oh, is this a good book for my child? They're all safe over there. And these are books that we can check out after this season as well. It'll be open up during Christmas time as well. And so here's some pictures here. They had 3 different tables. Look at those guys. Yeah, so cute there. And then so there's 3 teams. There was the orange, the blue. Look at those guys, all chefs, all of them. And then over here, the yellow. And so it's good times. Just a really good party yesterday. All the kids had a great time, and they got their awards, their gifts, not their awards, their gifts yesterday of how many points they tallied up from reading. And so it's really cool. A good time to celebrate together. And I kind of see that as like every Sunday we come together and celebrate. Celebrate as us being Christians and being so thankful to God for all that we have. So just want to reread this verse, Proverbs 16:16. How much better it is to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is to be chosen above silver. Hopefully you agree with this. Because you know what? Gold, silver, food, material things come and go, don't they? But when you get wisdom, you take that with you wherever you go. And that really is what gives you a good reputation if you are a wise person. If people look at you, look what a wise mother she is, or look at a wise man he is. That brings a lot more to your reputation than just money. Okay, because money is so fleeting. We see that, right? Or even if you're really good at sports, you know, even if you're good at sports, but if you open your mouth and let everybody know how unwise you are, not as popular as people thought you were. So we should be lovers of wisdom and just be passionate about it. Now, children learn so well, don't they? Good and bad, they learn both, but they learn so well. They absorb. I can just vouch for my own children. They've learned like their Armenian language. You didn't have to teach them or spoke it to them all the time, and they just absorbed it, and they speak it. Isn't it great? And so we need to take advantage of this precious time when our children are absorbing and learning so good. When we get older, tell me if you can vouch for this, when you get older, it's harder to learn some things. It is, isn't it? Maybe how to work the TV remote, if you get a new one of those, or different things. It's more difficult. But when you're young, you learn so well. And I think one reason is there is some issues with the brain, how it develops, but also there's just a hunger to know everything. Have you ever been around a child that asked too many questions? However many they ask, it's just too many. Yep, we all have. Well, when should that stop for us as Christians? When have you stopped asking questions? God, why is this happening? Or how does this work? What am I supposed to do? I think as children of God, we should always be that inquisitive child to our Heavenly Father and wanting to learn so much. It's not questioning in anger, but truly inquisitive, wanting to learn. So we need to be good listeners in order to do this. Proverbs 12:15 says, "The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that listens to counsel is wise." Right? There's 2 main ways to learn. You can learn by hearing from someone wise, or you see, or you learn by doing, okay? Most of us learn by doing, but hopefully we can continue to learn from listening to wise people. Now with this, we make mistakes. Anybody here doesn't make mistakes? I'll start to my next point really quick so you don't embarrass yourself. We all make mistakes. You might have already made a big one this morning. I don't know. But you know what? That's okay because we're human. We make mistakes. A fool sees his mistakes as right, though. All right? This isn't me calling you fool. This is Scripture, okay? Someone unwise looks at his mistakes and says, yep, that's right. That's the way to do it. I'm going to keep driving off that cliff every time I get a chance. You know? Now, that sounds unwise, but yet we see people do that. Whether it's the relationships they choose, or how they eat, or drinking, or what they watch on TV, whatever it may be. You know? They don't learn the lessons. I don't know if you ever watched Seinfeld. Any of you watched Seinfeld? One of the funny things about that was Morning Jerry himself didn't like Night Jerry. Because Night Jerry would just have a good time. Whoa! And then Morning Jerry had to pay for it. All right? He didn't get good night's sleep, and he'd wake up and says, Night Jerry got me again. But it's himself. And he kept doing it to himself. And sometimes we do this to ourselves. I can't believe I did that again. And I'm paying the consequences. Well, we need to wise up, don't we? And that's a great thing about reading books is that you get to learn from other people. Now look at this. If you like baseball, look at those pitches right there. Very consistent. Look at that, right there in the same area. But they're all outside. And he walked the guy. Okay? Now, consistency is only admirable if you're accurate. If you're accurate, okay? And so if you're consistently wrong, it's not very good. And so for this pitcher, it didn't really help him. So we need to learn to be humble and to learn from our mistakes. And if you're really wise, you can learn from other people's mistakes, okay? Oh, my cousin, this happened to him. I want to learn from that. I'm never going to do that. And if you care for someone, you can pass that wisdom on to someone else. Now, have you ever tried to pass along wisdom to someone and they kind of bit your hand off? Are you going to give them wisdom the next time? Not so quick, will you? So be careful that if someone's trying to help you, a friend that loves you is trying to help you and they know it may be a little sensitive issue, we need to receive that in kind, okay? In love and in humbleness. Humbleness, receive instruction. Because it blesses us. It's a truly great blesser to ourselves. And so a wonderful thing about being a child is maturing, growing up. You know, you start in this little doing what little kids do, and you keep growing up. It's really cool. I like this verse, 1 Corinthians 13:11. When I was a child, I talked like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, grown up, I put the ways of childhood behind me. And look, even his writing got better at the end there. And so, hopefully that's true. Unfortunately, it isn't true for everybody. Some people, they just continue to act as bigger children. You know, some people joke, you know, the difference between boys and men is how much the toys cost. You know, that sometimes is true. You know, and so we need to make sure that we truly are maturing, not just getting older. Okay? Because if we all get older, but not all of us are maturing and getting wiser. So as a child, you acted like a child. Think of things that you did as a child. You know, you jumped off things you probably shouldn't have. You spoke maybe a little bit too quick. So you need to grow from that because you are not going to stay like you are today. All right? You're going to be wiser. Think about yourself this time last year. Have you learned some things this last year that's changed the way you maybe act, the way you talk and things like that? Now, a lot's gone on this past year for sure, this year alone. Have you learned from it? Not just changed because people made you change, but have you learned? Has God taught you things through this process? You know, one of the great blessings through this adversity that we've had this year is that it's a great opportunity to mature. For us to depend on God, for us to see who our friends are, and to learn. One day, you drink from a sippy cup like this. Hopefully you didn't drink your coffee this morning out of a sippy cup. If you're still using a sippy cup as an adult, then you've got some issues. There's times that you need to drink milk. Now, I still drink milk, but there's also times that you need to eat meat. You need to get more mature. You need to get in more mature topics, think better, and have, here we go, more responsibility. More responsibility. You know, next week we'll have this involvement board finished. And, you know, as a child, you didn't think about the going-ons of the church. Oh, you know, your teacher was just there. You enjoyed things. But as you get older, you realize, oh, it's the adults that did all those things. And so I want to encourage you to get involved in the church's going on. So, but when you grow up, your actions should grow as well. So the involvement board is a great way to access and give you opportunities to grow. So finally, I want you to look forward to being mature. Yes, even more mature than you. I know you're mature now, but look forward to being even more mature, okay? And having more responsibility. Maybe teach a class. Maybe help out in some ways that 10 years ago, you never thought that you would be able to do that. But you need to challenge yourself some. I'm afraid that we are getting a way of challenging ourselves. We need to put ourselves out there for God, with God, and be successful with God, okay? So I want to encourage you. And for our kids, it all starts right here in the bakery of the library, right here. We're cooking some beautiful souls in here, and these books are great blessings. I love to read children's books. You can write on 10 pages of cardboard, about 6 words per page. Well, it takes me 300 pages nowadays to read, okay? But you can fit it concisely on a small little cardboard book, and these kids have been reading a lot. So after communion, we're going to have our awards show, and hopefully you'll be willing to stay for that. Well, maybe you realize that you need to keep learning, that you need to come to God, and Jesus is our teacher. He is our rabbi. He was a rabbi of the apostles, and he's your rabbi as well. I hope he is. If he isn't, I want him to be. And if you need him to be your rabbi or you need to get right with God again, please come forward as we sing this song.